Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 110 from the Gaming New Podcast. I'm your host for this week, Rob Garcia, and I'm joined by my co-host, Kevin Rolon. If you guys are new to the show, we are the podcast that brings you the latest gaming news and have profound discussions about the said gaming news. Kelvin, it's been a while. I've been on vacation for a bit. You were holding it down for a while here. What's up? I'm pretty excited to be back. I don't know why.
I am very excited for you to be back, man. Thank you. You brought back the swag now. You know what I mean? Like we're back. The gaming duo is back. You know what I mean? Thank you to Nick for holding it down with me last week. That was fantastic. I just want to give a shout out to him real quick because that was a great episode. And yeah, man, like it was great to have him on the show, but I'm glad you're back, Rob. I'm glad you're back.
Yeah, no, Nick, again, Friday Night Gamecast, man, thank you just like for lending us one of your hosts, because I know there's two of you, to co-host on our show. You know, I listened to your episode. You guys are awesome. You're great. You guys had some good discussions. If you guys want to listen to the episode with Nick and Kelvin, go to episode 109, episode before this one, and leave a review on it.
Or you can go to our socials and you can see small little clips of the episodes that we did and check them out. It's pretty cool.
Exactly. Well, before we start getting into gaming news and stuff about, you know, just Last of Us and all, before we get into that, I did go to Puerto Rico last week, guys.
Tell us.
I want to tell you guys all about it. First off, do you have any questions for me, Kev, about my trip? Like, you've been to Puerto Rico a bunch of times, so.
Yeah, so I guess you stayed around San Juan, San Juan area,
yes.
Right? I guess, what did you eat? I'm really interested in what you ate. Like, did you go to some of the restaurants we recommended, or like, what did you do?
So you're going to get a little upset with me.
Oh,
but
God, dude.
I don't think we got a ton of, like, authentic Puerto Rican food. Which
get it, because you're in San Juan.
Yeah, there's a lot of like restaurant, you know what I mean, like the new age restaurants and stuff like that. So yes, there were a lot of restaurants, but I feel like a lot of them weren't true authentic, like moms in the back cooking up, like
moms in the back.
Yeah, we did go to like a cool brunch place that had like Puerto Rican style breakfast, which was good. But
okay,
yeah, it was awesome. We went to a diner. It's called Calsalta. It's Barack Obama ate there. That was like their big claim to fame. Do you remember that?
I think I remember. Yeah, I think I remember that place.
Yeah,
that rings a bell. That rings a bell.
Yeah, food was great. Travel was really cheap. The beach was excellent.
Did you have breakfast and like in like little hole in the wall areas and had like the sandwich, like the pan con queso?
No, I did not. Wow. I did not have that. Yeah, I did not have any of the hole in the wall stuff. But I will say I had a lot of coffee con leche. So, but it was like a lot of lattes. Like did a lot of lattes, which is like the new thing. But, yeah, Puerto Rico's awesome. If you guys want to go, I highly recommend it. Stay in San Juan. Old San Juan's dope. Wasn't terribly expensive. Everything was pretty okay price. Wasn't overly crazy. I will say the one thing that I was disappointed in was the amount of Spanish that wasn't spoken.
I mean, again, you kind of sit in the most touristy spot of Puerto Rico,
right?
And so, if you wanted that authenticity, you should have branched out a little bit more just to kind of see what Puerto Rico is really all about. Because it's kind of similar to like when I went to Jamaica. Like we only stayed in the resort, and we ventured out just a little bit, but that resort, like you don't get the full exposure of where you're at when you're at a resort or when you're like in a very touristy spot, like how you did. You kind of just see what they want you to see, sort of. You know what I mean?
Exactly, and that's kind of how it felt. It's just like everyone we spoke to spoke English. Like there wasn't really a lot of Spanish, but it felt different enough to feel like I wasn't like in the U.S.
You're on vacation.
Yeah, exactly. I felt, but the beaches are excellent. The water was perfect. We saw a sea turtle. Like it was
dope. I think we should try to plan a trip together to go to Puerto Rico. Like, you know, maybe us and the ladies with us, and maybe just try to like venture out a little bit, just so you can see how Puerto Rico is.
Like again, everything's like a 2 hour. Like to get most of the islands, like a 2 hour drive. So it's not a big island. But yeah, that was my trip. It was excellent. It was much needed time off. The weather was awesome. It was 80 degrees the whole way.
Yeah, dude.
So
it's great. No rain?
a little bit here and there, but wasn't really. Oh, I got a bone to pick with you.
Me? Okay.
Yeah,
Let's have it.
Yeah, Puerto Ricans in general. So
jeez.
I'm like, so I go
Calling
into
us out.
Puerto Rico, and I think like the coqui frog is like this mystical thing. Like it's just like the pride and joy of Puerto Rico. Just like I always saw it on like, you know, they like have it on their, like people just had stickers of it, like little plushies.
Yeah, tattoos. Yeah.
Yeah, the frog. And I'm like, oh, it must be like a really special frog. It must be really rare. I thought it was a rare frog, like you just find in the jungle. No, it's just
everywhere, dude. It is everywhere. At night, forget about it.
we literally would go to bed. I used to hear the whole time, and I'm like, that's why they call it the coqui
It's
frog.
soothing. For me, it's soothing. I'm like, I like that noise. Like it's just like relaxing. I know I'm on vacation. I know I'm in Puerto Rico. Like it just feels relaxing to me.
There's a running joke me and Jess had, because instead of saying coqui, they sounded like they were saying cookie. They're like cookie.
Cookie.
So every time we would like look at each other and be like cookie. So
Yep.
a little on the annoying side for me, at least, like when I was trying to go to bed.
Sure.
But
If you're not exposed to it, which, I mean, I'm not saying I am exposed to it, but like it's just one of those things where I've heard enough, I've seen enough, I've been there enough to be like, okay, yeah, I'm cool with this.
But now I know why they call it the cookie frog, because it's like a Pokemon.
Literally, it could be its own Pokemon, really, honestly.
Literally, I'm surprised I haven't made one from the cookie.
Maybe.
Anyways,
I mean, maybe lechon, you know.
but it's Kelvin. Let's stop about Puerto Rico. That's in the past. Now we're in the frozen tundra. We're gonna have a giant snowstorm coming this weekend. What are you?
Wait, really?
Yeah. We're having a giant snowstorm Friday.
Oh my, we just had
Yeah, it doesn't stop, bro. Welcome to the Northeast.
Jesus. All right.
You're like, whatever. What are you gonna do?
It says rain to me, but for me, but all right.
I don't know. Maybe you get rain, but we got 12 inches of snow coming up apparently. So
Oh my god.
yeah,
Oh god. You have a shovel. You don't have anything else to.
I just have a shovel. I don't have a lot of property, so it's fine.
I don't know, man. I looked back at the picture you sent me when you got back from Puerto Rico. It's not a lot, but it's wide. Like you have a wide driveway, a wide enough driveway, I should say. I don't know.
No,
Good luck.
it's not bad.
Good
It's,
luck.
you got to remember, I used to shovel my parents' driveway and had that big long driveway. So I'm like, this is easy. This is nothing.
That's fair.
So, but we're gonna be caught, being cozy, playing our games. What are you playing, Kelvin, right now?
A little disappointing. I haven't been playing much. Still been playing Metroid
okay.
Prime, and I'm almost done with it. I'm so close to finishing that game. I can feel it. I have like almost all the power ups, and I'm ready to finish that game. I think it's again. I can't rave about that game enough. I think it's a phenomenal game. But yeah, that's all I've been playing. I haven't been playing too much. What about you?
I took it upon myself to beat Pokemon Violet finally when I was on my trip. Again, I love trips because it's the perfect time to just take my Switch and just bust out some games. So I beat Violet, which great game. Like I said, not my favorite Pokemon game in the world, but still pretty solid. I'm glad I beat it and worked out because we got the news coming up. Actually talks about Pokemon. So
Yeah.
and then League of Legends here and there. I'm kind of like in a weird spot right now where I don't know what to play. I like kind of beat Pokemon, and I'm like, I have Hogwarts Legacy. There's a bunch of Game Pass games that I can play. Like Atomic Heart just came out, which I want to try that out.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's weird.
We talked about it last week, and the reviews are kind of okay. They're not that great. But definitely we should check it out to see how it is, because although you can say whatever you want to say about that game, but it looks gorgeous. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it 100% does. Like I am a huge fan of like the way that what they're trying to do. It made it feel like it was almost like a BioShock. It kind of felt like.
Yes.
So, yeah, I am a little bit of a rut, but I think as soon as like Resident Evil comes out, I'll get back into it. Maybe that snow day is what I need to just like hunker down and just like play some Hogwarts Legacy,
Mm-hmm.
So, enough about what we're playing. Last of Us episode.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler. We're going to talk about Last of Us episode 7 recap. So there's only 2 episodes left. What did you think of this episode?
This was a much needed episode, I think. However, it wasn't my favorite episode. And not for any bad reasons. I think it was a great episode in itself. I just feel like it stops the big push that they were trying to do with episode 6, right? With what happened to Joel. And it kind of just like freezes things and it kind of takes you back a little bit in time, and it just kind of throws off the what's the word I'm trying to say? It just kind of the flow, momentum? I guess. The momentum, the flow, it kind of like kills it off for a little bit, and it takes you back a little bit to like just see how Ellie was, and before everything happened, before her meeting Joe and all that stuff. And yeah, it was good. I just didn't. I don't know. I mean, it's a DLC for a reason, because it's kind of like it takes away from the momentum that the game and the show is trying to kind of push at that time. And so would I have put it somewhere else? Probably not. Maybe this is the perfect time to put it. And I know what they were trying to do, what they were trying to signify in this episode, right? Because Ellie was about to leave. Like Joel was telling her, like, leave without me, continue on. I'm basically going to die, right? And for her to have that like quick second, like, before she opens the door, then kind of bringing us back to the past, it kind of signifies like, hey, Riley didn't give up on me when we got bit, technically, right? And so I'm not going to give up on Joel is basically what I got from that episode. And so, again, much needed episode, but I don't know. It just kind of kills the momentum, I feel like, sometimes.
Yeah, it's interesting watching it with Jess, my girlfriend, because she has never played the game, so I know what's happening. She doesn't. So having her opinion is actually pretty valuable to me. It's like, what did you think? Yeah. So she thought that this episode was kind of one of the weaker episodes compared to all the other ones, because again, maybe it was just like you kind of know what's gonna happen. Like as soon as you saw the clicker just like sitting down, like they're gonna get bit. This is how Ellie get bit. Like it was pretty. You knew what was going to happen. So at first she was confused. She's like, wait, is this a flashback? And I'm like, yeah, it's a flashback. But interesting that they included Left Behind with the DLC in the show. Like, they didn't have to do that.
Because we knew that was happening, right? Based off the trailers. Like we saw Riley in the trailers. So we knew that was going to be the case. Yeah. But yes, you're right. Interesting that they did that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought it was, again, it was an... I don't know if the episode was needed per se.
Really?
Because we knew what happened to Ellie. Like we knew she just got bit. Maybe that's because I already played the game and I knew it's how she got bit. Like that's how she got the thing. So maybe it was for more context of other people that haven't played the game.
100%. I think that's what it was, right? I mean, you don't know her backstory, and now in this episode, you get to see who Ellie is as a person. Just last episode, she's like the monumental scene where she's like, I've lost people too. You don't know who that is up until this point. Now you know who she's lost, and now you kind of get a feeling of like, oh man, like she had a very special bond with this person, and it was taken away with her as well. So she and Joe are a lot similar than he thinks.
I was gonna ask you, but do you remember in the game, in the DLC, if they showed her dying in the game? Yeah. They did show it, right? They showed her actually turning into a clicker.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't remember. I was like, did that actually happen? Did they show in the game? Did you end up having to kill her and stuff like that? Like,
yeah, they showed her transform. I think you do kill her as well. I don't know if you do it yourself or it's a cutscene. But I was a little bummed too that they didn't show that here. They just kind of like expected you to know that that's what happened. But regardless of that, everything was kind of almost 1-to-1 as far as like what happened in the episode.
The masks, the clown mask was like the same mask used in the game. Yeah.
Yep. So it was great. I feel you and I feel Jess for not like necessarily wanting this. Again, if this was something that happened maybe a little bit earlier on, they could have put this almost anywhere, I feel like, and it could have still made the same impact. I just want to like for someone like, let's say if I had never played the game, I want to know what's going on with Joel. You know what I mean? Like I want to know what that dynamic is looking like because Joel is dying. Ellie's like scrambling to find meds. Like what's happening, and the fact that you have to wait now 2 weeks, right, to see something. Is like kind of a bummer.
Yeah, that's true. You want to like progress with story. I think it's especially for people that played the game that like they're like, all right, I know this. I know, again, spoilers. He doesn't die here. Like he's gonna be fine. Like that's just like he's gonna die. He's gonna die. He's gonna. I'm like, she literally asked me. She's like, is he going to die? Like I was just like, no, he's not gonna die. Like,
and the thing is, in the game, right, the DLC, right, they left behind. They made it. They did it so perfect where this is that you understand what happens in the midst of Ellie trying to help Joel, right? So because we don't really know what happened, that looks like, what happens, but because of that DLC, we kind of understand what happened. Yeah, it doesn't translate that well in the show because again, that like because you're physically playing, so you're still in that, you're still attached to the game. But now you're watching something and it kind of brings the whole mood down. You're like, oh, I just want to know what happens to Joel. Like, you know, so yeah.
Overall, still a great episode, still awesome piece of television. I think though, probably one of the weaker episodes of the series, just based on momentum wise, like
exactly.
For us. But next episode should be interesting. I think Troy Baker's in it.
It is. Yeah, he is. Definitely.
It's very cool.
Be interesting.
Yeah. I've never actually seen him act before, like actually be an actor in the thing. So that'll be interesting to see.
For sure. So
enough about The Last of Us, Kelv. Let's get into some rapid fire news. Real quick here. Final Fantasy 16 is going to have a PC port, right? We all knew that, but it's not going to be ready till way after 6 months of it being exclusive to PS5. So basically, if you want to play this game for PC, it's going to be a minute. It's going to be a minute.
Yeah. I want to stop you right there because I like this in a sense. And I know
you
that this
like
is just
that.
Yes, because if you read the report, if you read the article, I forget the name of the Final Fantasy developer. I'm just drawing blank right now, but I like
Square
that
Enix? You mean the guy? You mean
the guy? Yeah. He explains why this is happening. He's very upfront and he's like, hey, this is why we're not doing it. And basically what it comes down to, they wanted to focus on the PS5 and just make sure that the PS5 version is optimized to the fullest potential, right? And they're like, and then afterwards we can work on the PC version, but we want to focus on the PS5 version because we don't want to like, you know, put too many eggs in one basket and then like kind of like spread
working
ourselves
on
too
two different versions of the game at the same time, and then that's taking resource off of the the developers to do the bodies. So definitely smart choice. It's typically what happens, right? It's like with console exclusives, you got to wait a while for PC, and when the PC ports do come, they are usually pretty good. Yes. At least for Sony.
And I just love the transparency there. So kudos to Square Enix team.
Yeah, and then last thing on the rapid fire news is we have a LeBron themed PS5 accessories. So we got LeBron themed plates, like PS5 plates are black, and they have just like, I don't even know how to explain this thing, man. It's just like graffiti on it or something, or like just like text.
It's like graffiti. Yeah. It's cool, I guess. I mean, it's not really that cool. It's not that great.
Yeah. General reception, public has not really liked the design of this.
Quiet, dude. Quiet. I have not heard a peep about that.
If you look at, like, I think it was Wario64 that tweeted it. He like showed it, like, this is available, this is coming, or it is available, and people were like, "Wow,
cool.
That's not that great." Okay,
yeah.
Like,
anyways,
yeah, exactly. So if you guys want that, go get it. It's actually the controller says something about peace and prosperity. I forget exactly what the controller said. What does it say? I don't know if you can pull an image of it, but
yeah, I could probably look at it right now.
It says nothing is given, everything is earned on the touchpad.
I mean, that's a great quote, I guess, but
I'm not trying to see that.
I'm not trying to see that while I'm playing a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm not looking at my controller when I'm playing a game. I'm not looking at my controller. I'm looking at the screen. So.
That's fair.
Yep, that's it for the rapid fire. Are you gonna pull it up? Yeah, pull it up here.
Real quick, if I could. Where am I? Oh, okay, all right.
You got
Boom. Here it is, and I mean, it looks like it's just look. The controller looks fine, I guess, but like it's just weird.
So it's a separate PS5 controller you purchase, and then it's just the plates, right? That you get for the PS5, I think.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Interesting. At least they didn't make it into a PS5 like a LeBron edition. Like they actually made it.
Like use his face on the.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I just feel like it would have been like a waste to like make like we don't have a special edition of the PS5 yet.
Right.
So to have this one be the first one, you'd be like, design. Would have been cool if it like did like something Space Jammy. That would have been cool. But
that would have been cool. See, come on, big brains here.
Big brain. Yeah. So that's it for the rapid fire news. Let's get into the actual big headlines, the meat. You know. First news we have is Elden Ring is getting its first DLC. You tweeted this, and you said you just cried. You just put crying face. You just like cry. You're just like, oh, my life. I'm gonna have no life.
I mean, for you, I want to know what your thoughts about this are. I mean, we'll get to it in a bit, but we're going back, man. Elden Ring.
People like were commenting saying that they're gonna like play Elden Ring right now and just like start a new game to just get ready. Yeah, and it's just like this thing. We won't get this thing for like another year. Like it's gonna be a minute. Announced via tweet on February 28th, From Software revealed that Elden Ring first DLC is named Shadow of the Erd Tree. It's currently in development. All we got was that information and an image. There's no release date. There's no pricing. We have no idea what it's going to be about. That's all they gave us. Mm-hmm. So based on this very, very limited information, Kelvin, what do you think is when it's going to come out, how much it's going to be? So let's hit some points here. Actually, I actually like Andy right here below this tweet. He says, time for Milliken, or basically we did get a little information, or at least someone said that there is confirmation that we're going to be, it's more about Milika, which is, I think, the sister or brother of Melania. Yeah. So we will actually get to see that boss and that person.
Oh my god, dude.
So yeah.
There's so much to talk about this because I think this is going to explode. I think this is one of those expansions, right, that people are gonna kind of take it as like the full game, and I think From Software is also going to treat it as a full-fledged game in a sense, right? How big do you think this is gonna be?
Well, we gotta look at the map because you're gonna be able to access it via the world in Elden Ring, right? So, is it gonna be like just a portal that takes you to there, and it's just a different side of the map, or is it actually in the map, or is it a different section? Are you going to a different land? It says Shadow of the Erd Tree, so I'd imagine if you're looking at the map, the Erd Tree's in the middle of the map, right? It's somewhere in the shadow of it, right? Sure. I would imagine. So I'm excited. Like as soon as I saw, I was like, I can't wait. It's almost like a game release. It's weird. Like
that's what I'm saying. Like this is going to be treated as another full game release, right? And so, not reading into too much of their tweet, but they specifically said expansion, right? If I'm reading it correctly.
It's an expansion. It's a DLC, a traditional DLC.
Because to me, DLC sounds like smaller, right? It sounds like, yes, this is going to be DLC, but expansion to me sounds like a new world, a new like part of the map. I think, DLC. Yes. I think of like Street Fighter 6. I think of like a skin. I think of like little smaller things like that. To me, this is going to be like in my opinion, 20. I could even see it 20 to 40 hours.
That's like what I said, 20, 40.
Right? Yeah. And that's fantastic, right? It has to be that big because, again, this game is, and everything about this game is massive, right? It is huge. Mm-hmm. So for them to make a DLC, an expansion, whatever you want to call it, it has to be somewhat a meaty size. And that's what excites me because you're going to get the quality of Elden Ring probably better, right? Because of they have better assets. I'm sure now at this point they had better time to kind of like add to the game and just kind of like push things forward. And so I can see this being maybe even better than Elden Ring, like in itself. Usually that happens, right? Like big budget games, they make DLCs like this. It ends up, hopefully, you want it to be better than the actual full-fledged game, right? And so I'm hoping that's what they're kind of leaning towards. Like I think of Destiny all the time, right? Like Destiny's expansions, I call those expansions, right? Those are better, right? Arguably better than the OG original, vanilla Destiny, right? It just keeps adding on to the game. So
yeah, I think this is a little different because it is a single player experience, right? So single player, there is multiplayer aspects to it, but I think first off, From Software is doing a phenomenal job with the pacing that they're doing with Elden Ring. They're treating with care. They're not trying to milk money out of you. Remember the DLC they did another update with the Coliseum for PvP.
Yeah.
Like not in December. So like they're like it's free. It's like whatever. Like people probably would have spent money on that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about money. How much do you think this DLC will cost? Or are you just getting it? Are they going to be like, here's the expansion? Have fun, go play. Yeah, they're going to charge.
I think they'll charge you. I think it's going to be like $40.
You think 40?
I think 40.
Yeah,
I think 40 because it's a good like middle ground for what you're getting. I assume you're going to get 20 to 40 hour length in this, and you're going to get numerous bosses. You're going to get new weapons, new skins, like a lot, everything. Basically, you're going to get a lot of new stuff. So $40 seems like a right amount.
I do remember Bloodborne DLC way back in the day, and that was awesome. I think it was like 5 or 6 new bosses, and that I feel like that one was small compared to what From Software does.
Well, it's much more linear, right? Obviously, you're like they didn't get to the open world aspect to it until this last year, I should say. So, I'm excited, man. This is fun. It's exciting because my story with Elden Ring. Like I love the game, but I did have to like really trot my way through. I was just like kind of like dragging my feet a little bit. I'm just like, holy shit, I am getting my ass beat. Meanwhile, you're over here just like, la la la, like I'm just like, oh, I'm just fucking, just killing these bosses. It's no big deal. So I'm interested to know what you think about this, because does this get you as excited as the original game, or are you just like, whatever, I'm in, doesn't matter?
I think I don't want to say I'm nervous. I'm more of like the hype is just so crazy. Like I know as soon as this drops, everyone's going to be playing it. And then I'm like, I want to be like playing it with everyone. I don't want to be left behind, not playing it. And like I don't want that feeling. I want to be like, I want to experience everything and I'm going to be in it and everyone's going to be talking about it. So it's so weird to be this excited, for me at least at this age, about a game now. This is one of those games where I'm like, yes, let's go. I can't wait to go back in.
And you're going to be those people again, like you were last time, where you're just going to keep playing that game until you finish it because you just want to finish it. So you're just like trying to like beat it as fast as you can.
Yeah. I mean, I'm one of those people that thought like, maybe I go play Elden Ring again to get myself prepared for the DLC. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know if I'd beat the game again, but because that was a lot. That was a lot to go through. What do you think?
I'm good, man. I'm assuming they'll have you keep your same progress, right? Like you're just going to continue from what you've already.
Yeah. So I guess that's a good question. Is like, do you want to go in the same progress you did, or do you want to start fresh and go into it with a different? And because you're gonna go into DLC and you're gonna be like a freaking newborn deer, like freaking on its legs, like trying to figure out how to play again on the new DLC. So I think I will go back to Elden Ring before the DLC pops in, just so I can be prepared for it.
My other question to you, Rob, the tweet says currently in development, which I mean, red flag there says we're not getting this anytime soon.
Yeah.
Right. So I think you're on the same page as me when I say we're not getting this year, right? You don't think, at least?
Latest December.
Okay, so you think possibly this year?
It would be at the end unless they do a surprise, but I would say either December or probably early next year, like Q1, I would say. Okay. February, I think.
I would like for it to release kind of like how Bloodborne released, like next year, February, around there. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
You also got to remember, From Software's working on Armored Core 6. So, do you think we'll see Armored Core 6 this year? I think they had a 2023
launch
window, window on the trailer that they showed back in E3. You think so? We're gonna get that first, or do you think we're gonna get the Elden Ring DLC first and then Armored Core? I'm excited for Armored Core, only because I like that. I mean, I played the originals back in the day. I had no idea it was From Software, right? This is a completely different From Software that is making this, right? And so I like to see how Armored Core 6 improves and changes from what From Software has learned and from what it was, right? Because they've gained this this pedestal. Now they're in this pedestal of like From Software games mean something, right? The Dark Souls, the Bloodborne. So
it's like a CD Projekt Red. It's like
exactly
what's Naughty Dog, like that kind of. It's like that kind of thing.
And so I'm just excited for Armored Core 6 now, But I think we're gonna get that before this DLC. I don't know why. I just feel like we will.
I'm the opposite camp. I'll switch it. I think Elden Ring DLC before Armored Core, because the game's already the assets already there. Like
that's true.
They just have to add more shit. So
that's true. That's true.
Plus, there's probably things that they didn't add into the original game
that they kind of
they
cut
want to add now.
Yeah.
So we shall see. I'm gonna play devil's advocate. Do you think people would pay $60 for this DLC?
100%. Yeah, this could be a full-fledged game again.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, people will pay $80. They're like, yeah, okay, cool.
Inject into my veins. Give me it. I don't care.
Yep. And I think it's gonna be massive, dude. It's gonna be another. It's gonna be treated like another release, like a Elden Ring 1.5.
Yep. And I'm here for it, man. So, that's enough about Elden Ring. Let's move on to our next piece of news. The E3 Expo website is up. So this is basically not super big, but I know we were talking about E3 and there's not going to be Sony, Microsoft, or Nintendo there. So it's like, well, what the hell is going to be there? So I kind of wanted to take this time just to go with you and just kind of explore the website and see what we can kind of speculate with it. So I'll pull up the website on my end here. Okay. Now, let's start off first. Are you excited for E3 this year? Like even a little bit, or not at all? Like you're just like it's
no.
Not.
I feel like it's gonna just be annoying because it's gonna kind of be similar with Summer Game Fest, and I'm just like there's just gonna be too much stuff going on, and I'm just like I'd rather have a clean, concise place to look at all the things that are being announced, and I feel like there's gonna be too many places to like too many things announced at the same time, and I'm just like I don't like that.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a little bigger. Can you see that? Okay. So the Expo is from June 11th to June 16th at the Los Angeles Convention Center, which it usually is always held. A couple of things. It says it has a little countdown on the website you can go to. And then I would say the most important thing here is you can buy tickets. So if I go to buy tickets, it asks me if I'm an industry or I'm a gamer. So let's say I'm a gamer, right? I'm just gamers. I hit learn more. And it tells me to get ready for the E3 experience. We have, there's a digital showcases, there's in-person showcases, in-person demos, and it just says coming soon. And when I try and click coming soon, nothing happens. So very, very bare bones. It says to buy tickets, but I can't even buy tickets. So that's kind of weird, right? Like, why would you have that button enabled to buy tickets if the tickets are not up?
I mean, we're still very far out.
We're 100.
We're getting there, yeah. But I would assume they just leave that as like a kind of like a placeholder type of thing, and then it's similar to like other conventions, right? It's like PAX, for example, buy your tickets and nothing's available yet,
Yeah, and then they also have industry days where it's for exhibitors, new format, new setup, meeting provider, get your pass. So if you actually hit get your pass, you can actually, you go through a form. You can't see it right now. I don't know why I didn't go through it, but another form popped up for me to get your basically if you're in the industry, get your pass so you could get in here. So very similar to how it was for PAX.
Is there any news on who's going to be there? Because we know Ubisoft is going to be there. they kind of confirmed that they would be there if E3 is happening this year, which we all know it is. But that's like the only like big company that I feel like is gonna be there, unless I'm mistaken.
We can go ahead and see like who is going, schedule at a glance. Maybe hit learn more. And the only thing they show, so they're doing it a little weird. They're doing it like half physical, half digital. Well, mostly digital. The whole entire week is going to be digital. And then there's only 1, 2, 3 for business, and then 2 days for gamer days. So they definitely are changing the format of how E3 is being run, because they're really dividing up the days now, as to like who can go in and try demos. All right, well, the actual developers can go in and talk to everyone else, and then Digital Week is, I think, all for the media, like the news outlets to like. Right. So I think looking at this, there's gonna be a ton of information being shown at E3. It's not going to be like the big, the big guys that we know, but there will be a ton of new games coming out and being shown out of E3. So again, looking at this website, looking at all this stuff, does this get you a little more pumped for E3? Does it do anything for you, or you're kind of like, I don't know if it's.
It actually makes me a little bit more nervous. Honestly, I'm like, what is the point of E3 now? Like, again, we've beaten a dead horse at this point, right? Where now companies have the ability to make their own conference on the spot whenever they want and decide when they want to do it. And so, what is E3 doing different, or what is E3 trying to bring in come June to like really bring people together and really bring the hype, right? Because that's really what all this is. It's a spectacle, like you say, right? It needs to be like, we're doing this, we're bringing you this, we're bringing you these games. Like Ubisoft's gonna be here, EA's gonna be here, and they're showing this, and that. Like, I need to see what they're showing, and maybe we're a little bit far out for them to do that, but I just want I just want that comfort of like, yeah, we're okay, don't worry, like we got your back. You know what I mean? Because I feel like right now I'm so disconnected with E3, and I'm just more interested in what Sony's gonna do with their state of plays, or what Microsoft's gonna do with their directs, or what, you know what I mean? Like I like those now, because that's just the way the gaming industry has pivoted. And so what E3 needs to do is find a way to like really bring us back, and to get those moments of like, hey Rob, let's watch E3 together, or like, hey, come over to my house, drive 2 hours, and like, let's sit down and watch, and compare who won E3, it's a different time now.
I definitely think it's 100% a shell of its former self, but they just need to learn how to adapt to the new digital age of the way we do things now, and give people, like you said, a reason to attend the show and tune in. So that's it for E3 and the website. Just wanted to kind of go through that and see your thoughts. So yeah, well, we have another news topic. Pokemon Day was this past week, and it was Pokemon Presents. We're getting our first wave of Pokemon DLC, Pokemon Scarlet, Pokemon Violet DLC. There's 2 DLCs. One's coming in November and one's coming in fall. The Hidden Treasure of Area Zero will be separated into 2 parts and will let you encounter a new Pokemon. Part 1 is called A Teal Mask, arriving first, taking place in a school field trip in the land of Kitakami. So you'll actually be going to a new location outside of Paldea. Part 2 is called the Indigo Disc, and is slated to arrive before the end of winter 2023, where players will visit Blueberry Academy. I wish I was making that up, but I'm not. Weird.
I wish I was going to Blueberry Academy. That sounds
Me too.
Cool.
I wish. It sounds great. It sounds like it's not hard at all. So what's interesting is that although it's split into 2 parts, both stories will eventually link up into one narrative. I do like that. I do like.
But does that mean that you have to play both of them to like?
It'll probably be a pass. You buy a pass and you get access to both. Yeah.
Makes sense.
So, I think it's what they did last time. Okay. So, pretty cool stuff. And while we wait for those DLCs to come out, there is a terror raid available that you can go do if you have Pokemon Scarlet, Pokemon Violet. You'll be able to get new Paradox Pokemon called Walking Wake, which is basically a prehistoric form of Suicune, the legendary. Mm-hmm. And Violet players will get Iron Leaves, which is a future form of Virizion, I think the Pokemon name is. So, yeah, Kel, what did you think of Pokemon Presents? What did you think of this DLC? Did it do anything for you?
It didn't really do much. Hang on, I think this is loud. Hang on. No, it didn't really do anything. Here's the thing. I didn't beat Pokemon Scarlet yet, right? So it definitely didn't do anything for me. However, as a Pokemon presentation in general, I was a little. I think for the most part, everyone was kind of disappointed, right? Mm-hmm. They didn't really show a lot of things that we were kind of hoping for. Again, me and Nick and I spoke about this last week, and some of our things were kind of true. Like we kind of got some of the things. Like I was kind of pushing more for like an anime to like really be shown here, and we got an anime, but not the anime that I was kind of like really hoping for. So I mean, it's fine, whatever. But as far as the DLC goes, I think it was expected. Like we knew a DLC pack was gonna come. I'm just curious as to like why so far away. You know, fall and winter of this year seems really far off, at least for a game that already came out months ago, right? And I feel like, I mean, people are going to gobble this up regardless, right, when it comes out. But
of course.
It just seems odd for them to like release it so far away. And I don't know what their strategy is as far as that goes, but it just seems kind of weird.
I honestly, the Pokemon DLCs are fine. We've had them for a couple of years now. I kind of want to talk about that, right? Is how, I guess, the DLCs were born. I guess, when did we start getting DLCs for this Pokemon game? Did it start with Sword and Shield?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it started with Sword and Shield, where previously we would get like a whole new game sometimes. Mm-hmm. If you remember back in the day, the DLC was Pokemon Yellow version, if you think about it. Emerald version, Platinum version, Pokemon Black 2, like those were basically the DLCs of Pokemon of yesteryear. I kind of miss that the Pokemon game that you got was the Pokemon game you got, and it felt more complete, right? Where I feel like now when you play a Pokemon game, like especially Sword and Shield, you're like, well, I know there's a DLC coming, and that's a complete experience because you know you're not getting the complete experience right now, which is kind of shitty, I think. That's how I feel.
I mean, this is just how the Pokemon Company are kind of doing their thing now, you know? It's weird because, like you're saying, oh, well, we used to get Pokemon, like more like new Pokemon, right? But it's kind of like, well, we've also been complaining that they've been releasing games way too often, right? And so is this a better alternative, or they're just kind of doing DLC instead? I don't know. I think it's fine. It just depends on what you're looking for. You know what I mean?
That's true, because I guess the games were also shorter. So if you look at Pokemon Emerald, Pokemon Platinum, they're the same games with very minor differences, you know, a little bit of the story. So like you couldn't really do that with today's games, I guess. You had like, yeah. It's, I mean,
I'm just, this is not for me. I'm a little disappointed with Scarlet and Violet. I mean, I'll try it again, pick it up again and see. I think they've released a patch, but I don't think it's helping anything as far as like bug fixes or anything like that. So that's disappointing. I thought we would have for sure saw like a little deep dive of like, hey, we're releasing a patch and this is what, you know, it fixes this and that. Like I thought that would have been kind of nice to see. And then they kind of started going off on things that we don't care about, or we ask ourselves, like, who is this for, right? Like Pokemon Sleep was a thing that they announced years ago. They finally brought it back. Here it is now. And I'm like, I still don't know why this is a thing, but it's a thing. And so it's just weird because, like, again, it's Pokemon Day, right? So they're just announcing stuff that are Pokemon related. Like you don't really know why this is there, but it's there, and it's just like a mixed bag of things. Like I was hoping for something along the lines of like the remake, like how Nick was saying, right? Like you get like a remake of one of the previous games, or show something along the lines of like what Nintendo was showing on the Direct with the Pokemon Online. I'm sorry, the Nintendo Switch Online having what's it called, Pokemon Coliseum and all stuff like that. Like give us a little bit more context about that, but nothing was shown. So I'm like, it's a bummer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people really wanted the old Pokemon games in a new Game Boy emulators. Like they wanted Pokemon Red, they wanted Pokemon Blue. Like people wanted remakes too. They wanted a gold and silver remake, and they wanted a black and white remake.
Yeah,
and we didn't get that. So I think they'll do the remakes. I think they learned a lot from Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, like how to not do the remakes, because people were like, "That sucked.
Yeah,
don't do that."
Yeah. I kind of wish they go towards, like, again, Nick said it perfectly, going towards like the Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu Eevee kind of style. I like that style. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it was different. It was different enough, and if it switched it up, I imagine you actually beat it, right?
I eventually did, yeah, but it took me forever. But it wasn't anything like groundbreaking, so I just like, all right, I beat it. On to the next game, you know?
Yeah, I think, like I said, people are kind of yearning. At least for us, we're yearning to play those old Pokemon games again, because we just like nostalgia. We just like those things, and we didn't really want necessarily more of this, because we kind of already played a lot of that already. I got the gist of it. Right. While we're on the subject of Pokemon,
oh shit,
I found the SP.
Ooh.
Okay, I'm gonna give you some history lessons here.
Wow,
So we got the old SP.
Dude.
This is let me tell you, this thing is
what
like,
a machine.
It's
compact.
Like 20 years old at this point. I don't know how old it was. Let's see the year on this. 2002. So wow, 21 dude. Years old right here. This machine, it still feels fantastic. Like the weight, the buttons all still work. There's nothing. And listen, this thing hasn't been charged in forever.
It still works. Shut
Ready?
The fuck up.
Okay, I got it on the camera.
Get out.
Ready? Hold on.
No fucking.
Boots right up, bro. Boots
Dude.
Right up.
I love that it has, again, this is what revolutionized handheld gaming, right? It has the light in the middle, right? You click on it. Kind of weird, right? Like, why do you need to not have the light? Like, I feel like it should just be a default thing. But like this for kids, if you don't know, if you're listening right now, Rob has the prehistoric but also game changing like SP right now. And for those that don't know, that was the game changer, because this allowed us to actually see and play at night, because it had a light backup light screen. And before, back in the day, we would use these little freaking what would you call them, like a little antenna light looking thing that you would attach to your Game Boy.
Yep.
And that's how we would be able to play at
little
night.
Port.
It still has it. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So
Crazy.
yeah, I mean, to me this was dumb, because like if you click this middle light,
you can't see shit.
You can't see, like, how am I playing with
just
that?
Keep it default. Like, just have a backlight, you know, and you're good.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, this to me this made me happy.
Crazy it still works, dude.
That it's just I was just like kind of like looking at Scrum, like it was a good experience, don't get me wrong, but like you can't you can't recreate this. You can't do it, because this fits in your pocket. This literally fits in your pocket. It's just like boop, done. What I hate about this though, there's no headphone jack. That pisses me off.
Damn it.
Yeah.
No Bluetooth. Obviously, that wasn't the age of the Bluetooths.
You had to like get like a special connection. So yeah, I love this thing. I think this is the greatest handheld ever made, in my opinion. But
I agree, man. I think that's a phenomenal piece of hardware there.
Yeah, it is cool, man. Like, John, I think you're our same age, and you appreciate it too, just like us. Where we're showing our age right now with like we're just reminiscing about that thing. So
yeah, a little off topic, real quick. Take It Easy Joan also says, "Oh hey guys, I was just taken in here after watching a 4-hour long Destiny 2 recap. Destiny 2, man, I keep seeing these things and I'm like, I kind of want to go back. And we talked about it a little bit on the Discord. If you guys are not in our Discord, definitely come in, join us. We have great conversation. We just have fun. But also on Twitter, I'm seeing a lot of stuff. Obviously, the new expansion came out. And so everyone's talking about it. But I'm just like, man, I really kind of slightly want to go back.
It's tickling you a little bit, right?
It's tickling me, dude. It's tickling me.
My boy from was talking to me. And he's like, dude, he's like, you got to play Destiny. He's like,
that's what I get every time, dude.
I'm going to send you a video and it's going to make you want to play. And it's free. It's free to play. So like, even if do we just download it and play some
Here's
Destiny?
the thing. We don't have Call of Duty anymore. We gave that up completely, right? Why not? I guess, right? Why not?
You want to go loot, find some guns and
like we're starting from scratch. We're starting like little babies. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
why not? We should do it. Yeah, we should.
I say we do it, man. Try it and see it and see what we get. And you know, I think it's a different experience now. Again, it's free. Why not? So we'll see. We'll give you guys an update if we do end up playing.
It just goes to show you how good Bungie is. They still got it. They still got it, man. Like, look at their multiplayer game, and look at Halo now.
Right.
And Destiny's still going. It's still going. People are excited to play it. So that just goes to show you, like, they're what made Halo. It's them. Like they're the goats.
Jono, send us a link of the video that you watched. I'm interested to see. And
it's a 4-hour long Destiny recap.
I'm not gonna watch the whole thing, but I kind of want to see clips of it and see what's different. What's happening. You know.
Anyways, let's
don't
move
send it
on
to Rob. He clearly doesn't want to watch it.
Final Fantasy 16. We got some hands-on impressions from Sony. Sony was able to get hands-on with Final Fantasy 16 and had interviewed the development team. This is actually pretty awesome. There's some key takeaways about Final Fantasy 16. There are a ton of major creators behind the game, like big names, including this one. This is a news piece for me. Right, I'm gonna spell his name wrong. I'm gonna say his name wrong. Ryota Suzuki, the dev behind Devil May Cry's 5 combat system. So he's leading the combat department in this game. So I'm just like, holy shit, man! Like this could be.
Well, we knew that.
We knew that, but
it's just nice to see that all the time. Every time
right.
we hear about this game, knowing that the combat is going to be very similar to DMC5 is like just like, I want to play this game even more now.
And you're going to be facing off against econs, which are basically Final Fantasy 16's version of summons. Like that's they just for whatever reason, every Final Fantasy game they call them a different name. I don't know why. They just they're the summons. They're summons forever for me. And they will be larger than life boss fights. So again, there's a Devil May Cry element where you're fighting against these big giant bosses and you're like flashy, and it's not like they're not just summons. You're actually going to be like fighting them in their face. And this one I thought was an interesting piece. There is not going to be a difficulty setting in this game. There's no normal, easy, hard. It is actually just 2 options. It is action focused and story focused. The major difference is that if you pick the story focused one, you'll get access to accessories in game that will basically make the game easier for you. So it make it more forgiving. I think one of the accessories let you heal a lot more, recover mana, something like that, right? So
right.
That's in a sense the easier mode in a sense, but it doesn't necessarily change the game that much. So
right.
The game will offer New Game Plus right off the jump. Well, we have to beat the game first, and then you'll get the New Game Plus, which will make the game harder. You are only going to play as Clive, the main protagonist in the game. You will have a supporting character or supporting cast, and their stories will be pivotal to the game, and you'll interact with them. But you're only playing as Clive, which is kind of. I'm kind of mixed about that one. We'll talk about it a little bit. Yeah. Okay. The game will take advantage of the PS5 SSD, so transitions will be seamless, and it will make use of the DualSense haptic feedback. Are you pumped?
I am incredibly pumped, dude. Like, this to me reinvigorates the hype for this game. I'm glad that they have like this massive like preview for a lot of the media, and so we get to see a good hands-on of like what this game has to offer, and like you're seeing like the game's like committed to that like dark, like gritty, but also like flashy look to the game, which I love. I love that they're kind of like full blown, like they're just committed to like, yeah, let's just be dark, let's just be goth and just
gritty.
like
like
gritty and just like own it, you know what I mean, like just like own it. The accessibility things that you were talking about as far as like having like a little easier settings with the 5 rings, I think that's pretty cool. I think that's smart to do instead of like having like a hard, easy, medium.
Yes.
That's cool. I think that's cool. The icons, I think you were mentioning
icons. Yeah. I think it's how you say it. I don't remember how to say it.
Icons. Those are like colossal battles. Like that's just like another layer to the combat system, which by the way, the combat system is it's gonna really push this game. I think the game is gonna excel in many aspects, but I think the combat is gonna be like right up there because of how much time and effort and just looking at how the combat looks. Obviously that we talked about, Devil May Cry 5 creator is behind this, or not the creator, the combat specialist
lead.
Or whoever,
lead,
thank you. They're on this and it just looks so good, like so flashy, like it just looks exciting to play.
It's like a Final Fantasy game. It looks like you're playing like an anime is essentially what
it looks like an anime. It looks like you're playing Devil May Cry with a Final Fantasy skin, and I'm just like, yes, everything about this screams yes. I'm more hyped than I was 3 days ago.
I'm so hyped I might get the special edition, which is like $350.
I'm not that hyped.
What happens if I like play this game like, yep, I love this is my favorite game now. This is my favorite game, and then I don't get it. I'm gonna be like, I'm a fake fan. It could. Let's take it back here for a sec.
Okay, let's wind back.
Yeah, let's wind back because I know we're very excited about this game.
Yes.
With Final Fantasy VII Remake 2 coming out, Part 2. We just had Crisis Core come out like not too long ago.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 15. Let's go back to Final Fantasy 15 as well. This is a huge difference from Final Fantasy 15, from Final Fantasy 7 Remake. Mm-hmm. They're completely changing up the combat. Where Final Fantasy 7 or Final Fantasy 15's combat system was more action RPG-ish, right? I don't know if you remember it, but it was a little on, like, it wasn't as fast-paced as this. But
no,
they were kind of leading in that direction, right? They were trying to be a little more, I don't want to say Kingdom Heartsy, but they were trying to be a little more Kingdom Heartsy with it. And
right.
But it did feel clunky at times.
Mm-hmm. Again, right? We played the vanilla version, right? I was told upon like updating it and all that stuff throughout the years, it was much better.
Yes.
Content wise and gameplay wise.
And then we have Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is like slow and fast at the same time. I wouldn't call it clunky because it's not clunky. It's just different. It's like a mix of traditional RPG and action RPG. Right?
I would put it more on the slower side. I and personally, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it's slower than Final Fantasy 15, right?
Yes, it was slower than Final Fantasy 15. Yeah, so this is completely taking off the brakes. Just like go, just do commandment ways. I don't care. Yeah. So I'm curious to see how Final Fantasy handles that when it just becomes a full blown action game versus an RPG now. Like, is this an RPG or is this an action game?
RPG now, it's such a loose term. Every game I feel like it has RPG elements, right? And so will this be considered an RPG? Yes, obviously. I think this is it's gonna have your spells, like I think IGN mentioned as well, that there are
skill trees and stuff like that.
You have skill trees, you have spells. That is the core, that is the essence of an RPG. So theoretically, yes, this is an RPG. Will it have the full blown like hardcore RPG elements that we've had in previous Final Fantasy games? Only time can tell. I think they're leaning more towards the action oriented style. Obviously, we've seen that in Final Fantasy 15, and so that's kind of like what they're pushing for with Final Fantasy 7 and moving forward. So it's gonna have a balance of both, right? One thing I want to point out that I was reading an article. I don't know if it was IGN or if it was VGC, but they mentioned how Final Fantasy 15 sold over 10 million copies, which is okay. I thought it would have sold much better because, again, Final Fantasy
15, right?
15,
Yeah.
yes. I thought it would have sold much better than that, and I just thought, it had more weight to it. Do you think this will surpass Final Fantasy 15, and do you think this is going to be like now the staple of what Final Fantasy? Obviously, Final Fantasy 7 is like, the grandfather of all, but do you think this one's going to be like up there?
Yeah. So I think Final Fantasy 7 you have to kind of take it out of the equation because that's kind of in its own category because that's more of like a nostalgia thing. That's like a catering to the the older fans and
Sure,
that kind of thing.
sure.
So like no matter what, people are gonna buy that because they're like, I want to experience that again, whatever. Final Fantasy 15 and Final Fantasy 13 have been kind of like the bastard children of, I feel like, of Final Fantasy. Because you remember, there was that whole thing with Versus. Remember that when 13 was first coming out, there was Versus 13, but Versus 13 ended up being Final Fantasy 15.
Yep.
So I think Final Fantasy 15 suffered because of that, because it was kind of like this split between 13 is actually a much older game than it was when it came out. And then some of it was like Kingdom Hearts. Like some of it was using Kingdom Hearts, I guess. I don't know. This one has like completely separate from that. That is out of the equation. This is a complete new game from the ground up. So I think this one has the potential to be like one of the best Final Fantasies in the series. It really can. It really has a potential to be that. They just have to make sure they ship a complete game.
Yes, which I think they have learned from 15 that that's not the way to go.
Oh my god, there's like 5 ports of 15 now.
Right. And so not only was 15 also multiplat?
Yeah.
Right, because I don't remember it being
It's on
exclusive
Xbox
to
now.
anything.
It's on a bunch of shit now. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, 10 million doesn't sound that much for a multi-plat game. I'd be surprised if Final Fantasy 16 beats or surpasses that in a more timely fashion.
Do you think it'll be a 7 remake?
No.
Like no, I'm saying how much
sales wise?
Huh? Sales wise.
Sales wise? I don't know how much Final Fantasy 7 remake. I think a little bit more than Final Fantasy 15, which is crazy because it's exclusive to PS5 and PS4. I think PS4 and PS5, right?
I don't know if it's coming out for. I think it's just PS5.
It's just PS5.
Yeah,
That's
I think
wild.
it's just. I think it's like they don't get. They're just a
So-
PS5. Yeah.
So pull up the sale figures for 7 remake and see, because if it's more than 15, that's wild. 1 and 2, I can see 16 doing gangbusters as well.
Yeah.
If that's the case.
So, okay, it doesn't give me the PS5, but it said Final Fantasy VII Remake became one of the fastest selling PlayStation 4 games, selling more than 3.5 million copies within 3 days of it coming out, and then over 5 million by August 2020.
That's the PS4 version.
That's PS4 version. PS5, well, it came out originally on PS4, and then they upgraded you to the PS5 version. It technically never had a PS5
Sure. That's
version.
fair. Yeah, so maybe it's like in the 8 million or something. I don't know. Regardless, I think it's going to surpass 15 at some point, because that's just, it's going to. Yeah, but 16 is definitely going to be monumental. I think it's going to be one of the biggest flagship Final Fantasy games to date. I think I just can see it because of how much care they're putting into this title. Again, we already spoke about it in the rapid fire, where they're just focusing on the PS5 version for now, and they're optimizing it later for the PC, because they want to just focus on the PS5 version and making the best possible game that they possibly can. So yeah, I honestly think this is gonna, and then again, with the previews that we're seeing, everyone's raving about it, everyone's talking highly about it. They can't miss. They really can't miss at this point. This game is coming out in June. couple bumps. Like it's done. You know what I mean?
And there's
it's
nothing
done.
really to compete with it. Like it's good. It's gonna be like this is the game that everyone's gonna get. Even people that are not like really into Final Fantasy, I feel like are gonna go into this game and play this game. 100%.
Right. And then the game, we know for sure it's like roughly 30 hours or so, which is pretty good. But if you want to do all the full-fledged like content, it's going to be like around 70 hours. Again, perfect length for Final Fantasy, depending on what you're looking for. Yeah, dude, I am right there with Onyx from the gaming resume. Like, he is super hyped. I am literally up there with him now as far as like, let's fucking go. Like, this game.
All right, maybe we're pre-ordering the special edition. I don't know, man. We'll see. Let's see. Imagine I pre-order that thing in a game that's like a 5.
No way, dude. There's no way this game gets anything lower than like an 8.
Oh, and you know what's awesome about Final Fantasy 16 coming out? You know what comes out a month before it?
A month before it?
I'll give you a hint.
Dead Space? No, Death Stranding? What is that?
No, in May there's a big game coming out.
Oh God!
Come on, dude.
What is this? The teardrops? What does that mean?
Hey, listen.
Oh, Zelda.
Yeah, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Damn.
That's why it's a
Oh
Tears.
shit!
Yeah. So we get Tears of the Kingdom, and then we get Final Fantasy 16.
Nice, that's gonna be this first half of 2023 is insane. I don't know what we're doing, dude. Like, this is the point now where you have to pick and choose what you have to play. Like, you can't like just say, "Oh, I'm gonna play this game next, then this game next." Like, no, there's so many games out there that you can play right now, and there's so many games that are coming soon in the foreseeable future that you have to like pick and choose what to play now. Which is, it sucks, but it's also a good thing to have.
Resident Evil 4 remake coming out April.
Yep.
Then Zelda, and then this. Ooh, we are eating good. We just have to get through March. And we're eating good.
March isn't that bad either. I thought there was something coming out in March.
I don't remember. I don't know what the big one's coming out in March, but
yeah.
Anyways, yeah, I'm excited for this game. I'll let you guys know if I end up pre-ordering that special edition because it looks badass as hell. There's a badass statue with it. There's a really badass statue with that thing. So
you say statue? I kind of want it.
It's an actual statue too. It's like
before we move on, you were gonna mention about Clive being like your only party member. Like, what do you think about that? Like, why is that?
I liked being able to switch through different cast members of the Final Fantasy crew. I think that's cool. I think that's a nice feature. I think maybe because I got used to Remake, and Remake lets you go through play as every single party member. Remember how you play as Yuffie, you get to play as everyone. And they do such a good job with their characters that it's kind of like sad. Like, you might have like this really cool member on your team, but you like can't use them, like make them playable. That's like my only thing, and I'm like kind of wish I could be able to like cycle through them, but I think they're gonna make Clive fantastic. They're gonna give him a huge move set. Again, it's gonna be like Devil May Cry, where like you just play as one character, but they can do like pretty much anything. And I think of like Sora, right? You just play as him the entire game, and you're fine with it. So I'll get over.
I'm okay with it. I think the switching around like in Final Fantasy 7, it's cool. It's fine for a little bit, but I just want to be Cloud. Like, at the end of the day, Cloud is obviously the main character that you want to be with and we want to play as. I feel like Clive is going to be the same way, where I just want to be Clive. Like, he's cool. I think that the dark tone that they are kind of going with this game makes me just love where like the direction that they're taking it. And so me being Clive and just seeing him progress through, because as we know, this game is going to take place like several years. It's going to be like
a lot.
See Clive in his 20s and his 30s, possibly in his 40s, I think. And so I think that's what they're focusing on. They're focusing on him as a character alone, so that you can kind of like grow into him or grow with the character is growing. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm excited for it, and stay tuned for more information.
I'm excited, dude.
Before we head out, man, let's do our in-game chat, and it's a quick one tonight. My question to you, Kel, for in-game chat is: are games better when they have singular DLCs? So just like we talked about Pokemon, where it has a DLC, or Elden Ring, where it has an expansion. Is that better than a game as a service? So let's look at now Halo Infinite, where it has a season pass. We look at Fortnite season pass. We look at Call of Duty season pass, instead of these like big DLCs or expansions. Do you personally think that DLCs are better in your opinion, or are you kind of like?
I hate to say this, but it just depends. Like, not every game can be a game as a service, right? I feel
yes.
Every game can technically have DLC in some aspects, right? So, short answer, I think DLC might be a better alternative than game as a service, because the way I'm seeing game as a service right now, and don't get me wrong, I think that's where we're obviously pushing towards. Like, game as a service is everywhere now, right? You have the likes of
Destiny,
Bungie with Destiny, you have the likes of Epic with Fortnite, all those stuff, right? Apex, like all of these games now are kind of like game as a service at this point. But I think the way they provide the content, it really depends on how they provide it. If you're getting that drip feed kind of like content, or you're just like getting little things here and there, and you're just like consuming that so much that you're not really getting enough, it kind of makes game as a service frustrating sometimes to gamers, and just like you're spending more money, if anything, towards the service as opposed to the game itself, right? Like you spent, at some points, players have spent way more money on the game itself than the game as a service, and now that's why they do it for free, right? That's why most of them are like free games as a service, and then you're just kind of spending money as you go. But I think that's just where the industry is going towards, right? Whereas DLC, for example, I like the mindset of like, hey, Final Fantasy thing, for example, right? You could buy the full game, what is it, $70 now, right? But if you want the DLC, if you want the extra content, if you want the statue, you can spend, a premium price. But you're getting the full game, right? You're getting the full game regardless. But if you want the extra stuff, you can spend a little bit more. So it's not a real like firm answer. I think it's whatever you're looking for. Me personally, I think DLC is a better way to kind of go, as long as you're not as long as you're not putting the content behind a paywall that should have been in the game, right? If you think of Metal Gear Solid 5, for example, and if they added chapter 4 that was completely like missing or something,
5 or 6, yeah.
If they added that and then added like a paywall and say, hey, you can get this for like $30, that's a problem, right? But if the developers are doing it right, where they're giving you the full game, and then later down the line they're like, hey, you can get this extra content if you want, you can get skins, you can get another like level or something for $20, like why not? Like that's just more incentive for the players to play the game again,
Yeah, no, I think you hit the nail on the head pretty much on everything there. I don't like when DLCs, I think DLCs or expansions should be supplemental versus crucial to your, like, in order for you to experience the game fully and get the true story, or the complete game, you have to buy the DLC. I don't like that.
Right.
I'll give you a good example of one. Kingdom Hearts 3. I disliked that you had to get the DLC to basically experience the true version of the ending in the game. I thought that was kind of a little cheap to do that.
Yeah, I see. Yes,
the DLC itself was good. Like, the expansion was great and it was cool, but I didn't like that they were like, you need to get this DLC if you want to experience the way the game should have ended, which to me tells me that what we got wasn't the true game.
What they added wasn't a shift in how the game ended. It was just adding parts of the story that you didn't necessarily see when things were happening.
Yeah, but they also added so much more to that ending that you just didn't see it in the original ending, which I'm like, come on, guys. Like, you made me pay $40 to actually see the real ending, and like to get the really like good like after credit stuff. And yeah, I'm just, whereas something like Final Fantasy VII Retrograde or Intergrade, you played as Yuffie, but it's a story that's happening alongside what was originally happening. So if you went and you never played Intergrade, you're fine to go into Final Fantasy VII Remake 2, because you didn't need, it wasn't a crucial part to the end game, to the story. So that's like my biggest gripe about DLCs, when they need to be supplemental to the game.
So was Kingdom Hearts DLC, were they literally adding story elements that if you didn't buy the DLC, you would be completely lost?
Yes.
I don't remember.
You gotta go rewatch it. Go play it again. Go rewatch.
Because I remember like the Mickey Mouse scene, for example, right? That epic, crazy Mickey Mouse fight. That's not necessarily like story that you need. It's just what was happening in the midst of what you were doing in the game, right? In the original version, but it was just an extra stuff that was happening. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but like they added, I don't want to spoil it, but like the Yours of stuff at the end, like
you could. I mean,
yeah, but like they had like a bunch of Yours of stuff at the end of like Sora's not actually dead; he's actually in this other world right now. Like they showed that.
Okay.
It's like okay, well if I just played the regular game, like he's dead, he died, like he's gone somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know. I gotta go back and listen because I remember in the vanilla version, you see the end credit of Sora being in a different world, right? Like you see that in the original one.
Yeah, but I think they showed you how he got there in the DLC. The DLC showed stuff that wasn't. I'm telling you right now. The DLC showed shit that wasn't in the game.
I just remember more so the DLC of like just having it was like a boss run where you just have like a bunch of enemies which again, granted, those should have been in the original game, but now you get to fight all these like crazy like boss battles that everyone initially wanted to do in the original game.
Yeah.
That's how I remember it, but yes, I agree to that extent.
Yeah, but yes, like companies,
if companies are doing that, then that's not a good DLC.
But companies like Elden Ring are doing it right. Final Fantasy VII Remake did it right. Like, make it appealing, make it like that you don't necessarily need to get it, and you're not missing out if you don't get it. But like, make it enticing enough to be like, you should probably play this because this is gonna be great. We're gonna put. We're not. It's like a money grab because you know with Elden Ring, it's not a money grab. You know for a fact that expansion's not gonna be a money grab. That's gonna be like you're getting your money's worth out of that shit.
Right.
So, last thing about that is games live of service. I think a role model at this point, if you want to continue doing games of service, is look at Destiny. They do a really good job the way they do it. They have expansions that feel fresh and new, but they also have the game live and you can do whatever you want. And they just did a really, like, you're hyped. Like every time they come with a new expansion, you're like, I kind of want to go and play Destiny now, even though I haven't played in like 3 years. So yeah.
Yeah, man, they're doing it right. Again, I think all those people that we mentioned, all those companies that we mentioned with Epic and Fortnite, Destiny 2, and then Apex as well. They're all doing it right because they're giving you content that's worth your money, but also they're not shoving it in your face and they're not like making you pay for it to add some benefit, whether it's story.
Sorry, I think I got COVID, man.
But you're right, 100%. Yeah. We didn't mention Call of Duty in this conversation because of that reason, right? Because I feel like they do weird game as a service stuff where it's like everything's in a paywall and you can definitely get it without paying anything, but you're gonna take 20 years to get anything, right? And then it just doesn't feel. It feels dirty sometimes. I feel
and
like
even when you like log in, you're just greeted by like buy this shit. I hate that
oh,
shit.
There's an update, by the way. Restart your game. Oh, there's another update. Restart your game. It's just like annoying. You know. It just
I don't want to log in. I don't want to see all these things that I can buy. Like I just want to be like, here's the store if you want to check some things out. I don't.
Here's some shaders for you to download. Like fuck off. You know. Yeah. Like I'm so tired.
Tell us how you really feel about Call of Duty. Kelvin.
Jesus.
But guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode. Go ahead and if you can, really, really important, go onto your favorite streaming service, Spotify, Apple. Please leave us a 5-star review or not. I don't need if you think this is like a 3-star podcast and just do that. It's fine. That's how you really feel.
We'll take it personal.
Yeah.
Let us know why.
Let us know why first. Yeah, and then you could do that. But really important for us. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you are a podcast listener, we do record this show live on Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. So do that, and you could be part of the show. You can interact with us, and it's a good time. And that's pretty much it for what I have to say. Kel, what about you?
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a good month. Stay tuned for that. Again,
It's gonna be a crazy month, actually. Yeah, we got a crazy.
Yeah. If you guys can definitely support our Discord channel, that would be great. Because again, we have a lively Discord channel there. We have a lot of people that tune in and talk to us and chat. So definitely reach out to us there. The Gaming Duo, obviously, the Gaming Duo podcast. And yeah, man, just happy that you're back and happy to keep making some content, you know?
Oh, yeah. And again, later this month, we will be going to PAX East. So if you're going, let us know. We can meet up, hang out, you know.
Let us know. Say hi. Say hi.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, thank you so much. And I'm going to leave you with one little soundbite here.
Oh, shoot. Oh, God.